Hello, this is Allison Church, and I'm telling you a part of my story. Celebrities seem to have a certain magic that controls crowds, and I found that out and became a more devoted fan after meeting one of them. Doug Jones plays a very, very complicated and appealing character on Star Trek, Discovery. And I met him at a convention, but I met him in a very unconventional way. Now, if anybody's ever gone to a convention, they know that if you're going to meet a star or a celebrity, they make a living too, and they do their jobs and they get paid for it. So that's why when you go there and you get their autograph, unless it's a very special arrangement, you have to pay, a certain nominal fee for them to be there and do what they're doing. Well, this was one of those times that I went to a convention and I went batshit crazy. I went batshit crazy with my money. And I was flat broke. And normally I would have an attack plan for what I would do, and that because I'm kind of a devoted Trekkie and sci-fi nerd, and I'm proud to say that. I did not see that Doug Jones was there. And I loved him in other things too. I loved him in Hellboy. And, I think when I was little, I didn't know it was him, but one of the commercials that I liked was Mac the Knight, where he played this character that had an audacious moon face and was playing a piano. That was him. And I loved his work. I love the way that he expresses himself. And I was talking to a friend of mine, not realizing where I was standing at the time that I was saying it. And I was kind of bummed and had a little bit of a cry going on. She asked what was wrong, and I told her, I want to go see Doug Jones, but I'm broke ass and I have no money. And all of a sudden, someone tapped me on the back of my shoulder. And I turned around and I discovered I was standing at Doug Jones' table. And he looked at me and said, I'm sorry that you don't have any money, sweetie, but I tell you what. He guided me over to his table. He took his seat behind the table and said, come here, give me your hands. And I gave him my hands, and he held them, and he said, bend down a little. And I bent down, and he stared into my eyes. And he had the kindest eyes. And after a while, he looked at me and he said, there, now you have something that you will remember and is priceless. And he kissed me right on the cheek. And I went, oh my God. And it was a good moment. And every time I watch him on a program, or I watch Discovery and see reruns of that, I always think of that moment. We forget that celebrities are people too. And if there was any more of a human moment, I don't think it can match the one that I had with Doug Jones. People are like onions as far as structure. We are complicated and consist of many layers of perception. I tried to do that in my writing. And if you are a young and novice writer yourself, I urge you to try to do that too. Because you will discover as you write your stories, if the characters are vivid and complex, surprisingly, they will take over your plot. I have characters in certain books that they were just supposed to be an on and off, but they were so complex, they demanded a moment on the stage. But that was my Star Trek moment. I wanted to share it with you. Again, this is Allison Church, and this is my story. Be kind. Be tolerant. But above all, my dear, dear friends, be happy and write. God bless.